We are at the police and fire meeting. It's a little bit after 5 o'clock. Got a little trouble getting in really, so. But call this meeting to discuss with, I think we're gonna let Harry talk first because you got someplace to go. Is that correct, Harry? So we'll let Harry go ahead and he's going to give his.
Nancy is.
I think I am.
No, you're not on police and fire.
Oh, Nancy, good. I got a lot to say tonight, though.
Sit your ass down.
About that free Thanksgiving Day feast that everybody missed out on.
Yeah, that's good.
Okay.
But anyway, we're going to, Harry's going to give a little schedule about what he's got going on for Christmas, and then we'll go into our police and fire, fire discussions. Harry. Yeah.
All right, so I was asked to come in today to just reiterate on the schedule for the upcoming events that we have. So December 7th, which is a Saturday, is the annual fire department breakfast. This is a fundraiser for the basket program. I do not have an exact time frame on the year, but it was about 40 years since that program started. The breakfast program, not the baskets. December 11th and 12th, from 5 to 7, is the 8th annual Jim Conrad Christmas Toy Giveaway. Again, this program was started when Mr. Conrad passed away. His wife and his family approached me and said, hey, they asked me, can you do something with these toys that we have? Can you do something for the community?
Who was Mr. Conrad, Harry?
So he worked over here across the road on 29 Drive, and he was a toy collector. So he collected toys, and he collected toys of higher value. So what we did when we started the program was we were going through and inventorying toys and then taking toys to toy stores in Franklin County, selling to collectors to bring back more money to buy more appropriate toys for children. That's how that program started. So every year we take donations and we actually go out, we'll do Christmas shopping, add to the stock of toys that we have. And this marks the 8th year for that program.
Can you use money at that time too?
Yes, we can use money for the shopping.
Okay.
Yeah, so we're always taking donations.
Okay.
December 13th is the fire department Santa parade. This was a parade that was started during COVID when people weren't leaving their homes to join in the festivities or take their children to see Santa Claus, or some elderly in the community that we had said, hey, we're not leaving our house. So what we did was we came up with the parade route. So we have Santa and the trucks that would drive a specific route throughout the city of Nelsonville.
You pretty much hit all the streets, didn't you?
We hit
East
the main
end,
areas
Poplar.
we hit every area that's easy for us to access with the trucks. and
Yeah,
trailers.
yeah, that was nice.
So that's December 13th. That should start at 6 p.m. December 20th and 21st is the annual Christmas basket program. We assemble the baskets on the 20th and deliver on the morning of Saturday, the 21st. And this marks the 76th year of that program. And that will finish up the month of December. The month of December is pretty crazy for us at the fire station.
That's good. That's good. Those are all good things for the community.
And I
Help on the 20th?
sure we're always taking help in the community. We have many members in the community that have helped out for years on all of our events. That being said, I want to thank Councilman Flowers and actually Dan Sherman for coming to the fire department. They actually cooked cooked Thanksgiving dinner with the crew and had Thanksgiving with the fire department crew. So that was very nice of them to take time out of their time to do that.
That was fun.
That's all I have.
Yeah. Thank you, Harry. Okay, we're going to further on go a little bit. This Sonic's not here, so we're going to talk a little bit about code enforcement. We had, if you want to go ahead and do that, Devin, talk about the lady that we hired, the lady that we're gonna have to rehire somebody.
Yeah, so we had a little bit of help temporarily in the city manager's office. Unfortunately, she got a better job offer. So she's left. So we're gonna be looking at getting a new administrative assistant. But specifically for code going forward, there's kind of a need to expand how many people we have working code, especially if council has future plans to add
So you're talking about code on the streets, looking around, making sure the community looks,
Yeah, and then if you guys enact that Title 31 and want to start an inspection program, it's gonna create a bunch more work, so.
right?
more hands would
I
definitely-
invited Mr. Sappington here tonight, but I understand he's off on Mondays, so maybe we can get with him in a finance committee or something and see about, the proper finances for doing something like that. I think the city needs to have, and Bill and I went to the code enforcement, thing down at Hockin College that him and I kind of helped set up down there for the area code enforcement. And I can't reiterate this enough, code enforcement is not a punishment, or it's not to make the city money. It's to improve the homes and the property values in Nelsonville. And I think that's the main focus for trying to do the proper code enforcement without hurting people's financially or without causing hardships on anyone. So we'll be looking into that. We've also had some issues, not some issues, but the council clerk got a letter about, where was that? Do you remember where that was at? The street, that intersection that we got the letter, it said it was high speed going on up and down the, do you remember that? letter?
There's a sign up down by Jefferson and Chestnut. Please
Jefferson,
slow down.
Jefferson and Chestnut.
It was somewhere on Jefferson, in there, Jefferson, like Washington.
There's Chestnut, there's a big sign, right past the old food court. It says please.
Yeah, I
slow
saw
down.
that. I walked by that sign, as a matter of fact, but I think the person in that house put that sign up, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, there was a separate. one, I know they got sued. That's the last one. Yeah, I think it was Jefferson and Orma Street, somewhere in that area.
Right, right. Have you had any issues with that up in there? Or have you?
Not my knowledge. No.
Yeah,
We try to do a decent amount of enforcement around that. The three-way stop area there at Jefferson.
Right.
Watkins and Poplar, but not specifically there on Jefferson where they mentioned.
Well, speed is terrible throughout the town. But, I mean, they can't be everywhere. I mean, they zip down Chestnut all the time, and then they zip like, I've had people pass me going down Canal, me doing 35 mile an hour.
I think what I looked at some of your reports, and I think what I gather just from my little pea brain is that enforcement like that has to have a consequence. And a lot of the times I don't see a consequence when you do a stop. So I don't know if that means they're not, don't worry about it, we can speed and get away with it. You see what I mean?
Well, until we just set up mayor's court back again, I mean, if we send them down to Athens, and Athens is dismissed.
That's true too.
So,
So
Now-
we do
now
have,
we
we
have-
do have mayor's court, don't we?
Not at the moment.
Why?
Ms. Sonic stepped down from,
Mayor's court?
presiding over mayor's court, so we're looking at getting a magistrate currently
Oh, okay.
to come in. But mayor's court was slated to start at the beginning of the year
I know.
anyway, so at the
Yeah.
moment we're not necessarily set back, but we're gonna be looking at getting a magistrate to go forward.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, I think, like I say, I think that I think that there's some issues that probably you can look into with your department and find out, a little bit more enforcement, a little bit more something. I mean, I hear it, not just get letters from it, but I do hear it. So, I just want the public to know that you're on it and there could be a little bit more of a problem than what you're aware of. So, we can take a look at that. So let me just go ahead and open it up and see if anybody in our audience has anything to say. Okay,
I agree with,
okay, Tony?
I think there's a lot of things that are wrong.
I agree.
I saw some stuff on Facebook today that's kind of discerning. I guess.
And that's all true, right?
I heard, yeah, you guys had a meal. I wonder if it was open to the public because you had a citizen back there cooking in the fire department. Harry, was it open to the public?
Well, first of all, the fire department is a public building.
Okay,
Secondly,
but you got a citizen cooking.
Well,
And then was it-
actually, if you want an answer, I will give you an answer.
Well, give me an
Don't
answer.
interrupt me.
Give me an answer.
Dan Sherman is an honorary member of the fire department. He has been for years. He's not a lifetime member. He's not a firefighter. He doesn't ride on any apparatus or anything. Nobody from the public does unless they fill out a ride one for him. We have many interactions with the public. And if anybody from the public wanted to come to the fire department to celebrate Thanksgiving with the crew,
Was it announced?
was what announced?
Was the meal announced?
Didn't have to be announced.
I don't think that has to be announced.
It didn't
Well,
have to.
I was just wondering, there was.
Why should it be
It
announced?
didn't have to be announced. The fire chief runs the fire department, police
Okay.
chief runs the police
That's fine.
department. The fire
We'll
chief
just
sets
get-
policies and procedures.
Just
for the
want to get it
fire
out there.
department. The police chief sets
That
policies and
you
procedures
as
for the
a head of the police and fire committee are having dinner with the fire department that you're voting to move stuff forward with, okay?
That has nothing to do
Really?
with it, Tony. Not a
doesn't?
thing. In your mind it does,
No,
but
I
not
think
in
it's a
my
conflict
mind.
of interest is what it is.
No, it doesn't.
Yeah, well, no, why would
To
it?
you it is. To you it is.
I think it is.
I know you
And I
did.
will make that
That's
request
why
to the
you're here
proper
talking
person to have
about
you
it. But I
removed.
can tell you this much, Dan did not cook that turkey over there.
He didn't, he cooked it at.
He grilled it
he
at
grilled
his
it in
house and brought it
He's standing in
over.
front of the stove on Facebook.
Well, where was he gonna set it? Out in the
No.
parking lot?
All right, I think this conversation's.
It's a mute issue.
No,
It's ridiculous.
Oh, yeah.
well, I understand his perception, that certain people are getting favored and stuff like that. My only question is I understand individuals come to the fire department and stuff, but when somebody comes and hangs out at the fire department, what's our insurance say? What if something would happen and they fall down and get hurt? We're all insurance covered, or we open up for a lawsuit? Because we have an unauthorized individual.
They're
It's not a member of the fire department.
They're not unauthorized. It's a public building.
Well, it's a public building, but at the same time, even though it's public space, there's areas that are off limits to personnel, but that's neither here nor there. That's for another discussion.
So the fire department has always been a public building. When we do all of our PR events and functions, we always have members of the public that assist and help. There's never a member of the public on an apparatus unless there's a proper ride-along form that's filled out and signed by me. That's already been vetted by previous law director, Hunter. We have policies and procedures in place for security that have been in place since 2018. I have a drug license through the pharmacy board for the state of Ohio. Our policies and procedures meet that approval as well. This facility is locked down. If the bay doors are open, we're down in the bay working. Members of the public can walk in the bays, and they always have. I've heard it said on council, and I haven't said anything about it. I've heard it said on council that we carry narcotics. We do not. We have a drug license that's in my name. The drugs on file are sterilized water, which according to the state of Ohio is a drug. Naloxone or Narcan, which according to the state of Ohio is a drug. It has to be regulated. And oxygen. So we administer oxygen. According to the state of Ohio, that is a drug. All medical supplies are locked up. They're locked up at all times. There is nobody from the public that is just meandering around the fire department, getting into equipment, or doing anything like that. For somebody from the public inside the building, they are with the crew. That's the way it's always been. I would never allow somebody from the public just to walk around the station and get into whatever they want. And everybody in this room can tell you knows that because he's been at the fire department during some of our events.
So I have a question about that. So if a citizen is in the fire department, they have to be accompanied by a firefighter or by you, correct?
When members of the public are in the department, they are never just in the department by themselves.
So if an individual is there numerous times a week for hours on end, they're tying up the employee and or you, which is taxpayer dollars being misused.
That's incorrect.
That's incorrect?
That's absolutely.
Okay, so correct me on that if you would, please.
Well, first of all, again, December is our busiest month for the year. And if you're referring to Mr. Sherman, when he's been at the fire department, he's been planning events with us and scheduling events with us because he is a member and he is a part of every event that we've done. He has been for years.
So
And
how
I would
many-
invite everybody on council.
So how many citizens are labeled as honorary members of the
As
fire?
honorary, we have many lifetime members, which were previous members of the fire department. But right now, probably Dan. We have many members from the public that participate and help out. And some of these members might not want to be named. If they
Oh,
don't want
that's fine.
publicity.
Oh, and you know, the thing is the T-shirt that was photographed in those photos in the fire department was kind of obscene. I mean, I don't know why you would want a T-shirt like that associated with your department.
I wasn't wearing the t-shirt.
Yeah, but there's photos of that individual in your fire department
That
cooking,
photo,
cooking at your stove.
we can look at First Amendment rights. That photo is not
That's
on the fire
fine.
department's page.
I'm just saying
Okay, well,
decency.
council has,
I'll see where yours is at.
at our last planning and development committee meeting, we put it out there in this, and Chief Tolliver is going to be looking into creating a citywide policy for all city properties, buildings, and to up security and take care of those issues.
Well, I don't see what issues we have, but, the chief and
I said citywide.
I, can definitely talk about that.
I'm sorry.
I said the chief and I can definitely talk about that. We'll discuss that.
No, the chief is gonna create the policy for all city properties
As a city manager.
as a city manager, correct? No individual departments. I mean, obviously there will be input, but this is citywide
There'll
because,
have to be.
I'm sorry.
There's gonna have to be.
Right, because the department heads run the departments.
Yeah, and that's what I said. So, but we have facilities that need to have policies and procedures.
You do, and I think you'll be surprised to realize that the fire department already has policies and procedures in place. They have been there since
Well,
2018. Here's
now-
what, okay, I'm gonna say it because I wasn't going to, but I'm going to now. What I will not do as the fire chief is allow anybody on council to use the fire department as a tool or a weapon to violate somebody's rights in the community because they don't like them, or to try to oust somebody or kick them out of the fire department, as to what I've been told. It is not my job to violate anybody's rights. I have always had an open door policy with the public and with all of council, and it remains that way.
I agree, as long as it's fair to all citizens.
It is fair to all citizens.
Okay, well,
I only got one problem with it.
Yes.
You allow certain individuals come in and hang out and all that stuff. But yet then, when we've had major storm warnings and people are afraid to stay in their mobile homes or something like that, we no longer have the hospital up here to where they can go in. People have come up here to the fire department and been turned away.
No, they have not.
I have more than one individual that has, I can't, I can just go, I have more than one individual that has told me that they were told they couldn't come in.
That's never happened here.
I'm just telling you what I've been told.
We even open at warming stations. We've even opened up City Hall, council chambers as warming stations because it is open to the public. And I
As
have.
much as I don't agree with some of the stuff that goes on, I do find that hard to believe.
Yeah. Yes.
okay? I don't agree with everything, but I find that hard to believe.
I've had more than one,
I don't. So
one person.
I'm with you,
From the
okay?
trailer
And I
park
could be
over
way
here,
wrong.
tell me that, there's been tornado warnings and take cover and people have come up here and been turned away. All I can say is that's what they voiced to me.
I understand that, and I respect that you've been told that, but that's not our stance.
I have a question about that. If there's a warning and let's say the fire department's called out, then those people would be turned away because the fire department's out.
Unless we could get, but sometimes we have warming stations when it's cold and during
Are you
extreme
talking
times of
about
heat,
something like that?
and we have it set up here.
No, I'm talking about if there's a severe
I'm saying they.
thunderstorm or there's tornado warning,
warning.
I mean, it's just something we have to look into because where does somebody go? Where do they go right now?
So if we have extreme weather, we contact the EMA's office, and as long as the city's okay with it, and usually the city manager has always been okay with it, we would set up a warming station or a cooling station.
That's just what I've been voiced.
And we've done that. I've been here for 25 years, and I've never known us to ever turn anybody away. That's not what we do.
I've had, like all I can say, all I can do is say what has been voiced to me.
Okay, what we're gonna do is, I think this has gotten out of hand. I believe as a councilman that this type of situation is what could be wrong with our council. I think it's nitpicking, and I think it's wrong. But that's just my opinion as a council person. But I think that we have more important things to take a look at in this city than who goes into the fire department because they're not liked. So,
That's, if I may, that's not a fair statement because we're also talking.
well, you
about-
may, but it's a fair statement. You
And
may.
you said it, and I'm
I-
gonna respond to that.
You
So when we start talking about liability and tying up resources, it is a very important issue.
tying up resources.
Yes.
How are you tying up resources?
Okay, so we're back to the conversation, as I said
Us
earlier.
having dinner at the fire
No,
department?
as I said earlier, when someone is at the fire department, they have to be accompanied by a firefighter or the chief. That takes away from their time to do their duties. And it doesn't matter who the individual is, it's any individual has to be accompanied by firefighters.
Is it a
personnel.
public building?
That's the policy, we just heard that.
So
Now, if somebody was to
So
walk
until
over,
there's another policy written, it's a
And that's
public
what I-
building.
and that's what I said
Well,
earlier.
this point, there's no
Okay.
points to be made here.
So
I
let's
don't
go
think
back
there's
to,
any points
let's
to
go
be
back to,
made with the complaint that we're hearing. I think the point should be made and something may be done about it.
and that's what
Well, then,
the other committees worked on. So back to code enforcement, we haven't talked about, currently we have one employee in the code office. And now that we've passed and enacted Title 31 for rental inspections, that code office is going to need to be expanded.
well, that's what Chief
Right.
Tolliver just said. So we're going to figure out, I believe, I heard you say the other night that you talked to Taylor and he said the budget may not be there for that person. Is that correct?
As it stands, it's not allocated
That's what I'm talking about.
or really any wiggle room.
So I think we need to take this onto a finance committee where Chief, Taylor Sappington can maybe let us know if there's any wiggle room, as Chief Tolliver said, to put on somebody else.
When is Taylor's last day?
No.
All the way to the end of the next year.
Yeah, I think it's October, isn't it?
September.
September.
Yeah.
October.
So current,
This is the last official transition.
So currently landlords pay a $30 a year rental registration fee. That fee was enacted to supplement the code enforcement office. Currently, more or less, it's funding the code enforcement office. So actually, the city really is not making a commitment to the code enforcement office. Because we're using landlord's rent registration fee of $30 a year
Right,
to fund the department.
right.
And that's actually the only inspections done in rental properties right now is by complaint.
Right.
So if I could ask Bill, and you may not know, but how many complaints in 2024 have you received concerning a rental property as far as needing an inspection inside of it?
Inside and none.
None. That's my point. Thank you. That's what I was going for was, that's almost a misuse of what that money was supposed to be used for. Because it is funding the code enforcement office citywide and not for rental properties.
But here's the point that I think that boggles my mind is I've never seen figures of $30 here, $30 there, $30 here, who's paying. I have never seen a grand total on them figures of the $30 rental fees. So how are we supposed to know what you just stated is right as far, and I'm not saying you're.
No, you're good.
No,
Yeah.
but I mean, I think we first need to find out from Mr. Sappington what kind of figures are attached to that and what we're paying for code enforcement.
He has, the auditor has provided those numbers previously.
I have the most recent list for property registrations was what, like right around the 15 grand bill. So the total was for the year for 2024.
Plus we get the permits for all permits. You know, we get money from that.
Is that in this, or is that just the rental
It's just
fees?
rental registration fees.
At one point, a few years ago, there was approximately 1,200 rental units. And then that dropped to about 900, the last I remember. So the number is going down, the number of rental units, or people aren't registering on properties. That would be not the auditor's job, that's the administration's job to make sure that that's happening. That we're collecting what we need to be. So.
Because there's been a lot of rentals change hands in the last couple of years. There's been a lot of people that
Right.
were landlords who have sold to out-of-town landlords. And just for everybody to be aware, there is a lot of out-of-town people wanting to buy properties in Nelsonville right
And
now.
Bill and I can attest to that from this code enforcement meeting we went to. We heard Logan, we heard Athens. say the
It's
exact
everywhere.
same thing.
They are coming out of Columbus and Cleveland and Akron
Out
and
of
Canton
state,
and buying as much as they
Jersey,
can.
Texas.
Tracking them down to make sure they pay their fees.
Yeah, because I've been approached by them.
To
Well,
buy.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And not only me, a lot of the landlords in the community have been. So it's one of those things where
we just sent the letters out.
you could just sell it all.
For the,
and you deal with
rental
these people
fee?
from Texas.
I'm getting calls already saying, I don't own that.
Oh, really?
Mhm. That's
I don't
who's
know.
registered it.
So how do you, I mean, do you say who'd you sell it to?
They don't want to talk about nothing. They just say, I just tell you it's not mine anymore.
Yep.
That's all they say.
Well, we're gonna have to get a handle on it some way or another, whether we have to knock on doors or whatever, but we gotta find out.
And that goes back to the limited personnel that we have in the code enforcement.
Sure does. Sure does.
You know, because I understand and I appreciate what you're trying to do to expand not rental properties, but code enforcement citywide. But now we gotta meld these two issues together.
And they are together, aren't they? The code,
That they are, but what I'm saying is, one person cannot do that.
No.
So even if it comes back that it's difficult to find the resources to fund it, we gotta do something because that's what the community wants,
of course it is.
obviously.
And well, and twofold, they want the properties to be registered and they want them to take care of.
Because Lord knows you've got that group of concerned citizens that like to drive around and take pictures and put them on the website of Nelsonville Battle Boys.
Really?
Oh, yeah. So,
I didn't know.
but just, and
I didn't
Just
know.
in
Around
the-
and limps a little bit.
just in the summertime to keep up with the high grass notices, Takes up how much of your time, Bill?
It is.
It's a lot.
But yeah, because it never ends.
Yeah,
It doesn't, every
Next
2
week.
weeks, right?
but
But the thing about the changing of, owners,
Mhm.
they call me and then I look on the auditors, it hasn't changed. They haven't got it updated yet.
Mhm. First of the year.
I don't understand, how can I find something if I don't know where it's
A
at?
lot of times it doesn't get updated till the first of the year after the tax season.
Right.
After that taxes get updated and get paid, that's when they update.
I just have to talk to the tenants, find out where they're sending their checks.
That's just what I was gonna say.
Well,
If they'll tell you.
If they pay, but
Yeah, where
Some
do you
of them
send
aren't
your,
paying.
where you send your money to and, let them
some
know.
aren't paying, they don't know who's sending the check. Somebody's sending the check, but it's not them.
Does
Not the card
Hopkins
counters.
College have to pay a fee over there for their,
No, the
Dormitories?
dormitories, no, it's on their property, and they're not actually rentals, those are student dorm rooms. Think about
Which
how
they are
class- but it's, in theory, they rent them, but it's a different classification, you know what I'm saying? It's
Yes,
not,
sir. Yeah.
it's not like
Student housing, not-
it's student housing, not, it is rentals, but it's not rentals in the way that they have a landlord, you're paying the college, and usually it's through a scholarship or, a lot of that stuff I think is through scholarships.
Right.
That's a good thought, but no, they don't, I don't believe they do.
How many units they got over there, you know?
500.
College?
Yeah.
There's a bunch in that building, White Hall.
Is there?
Oh, yeah, there's a bunch there.
What, the dorms?
Mhm.
yeah, it's like 400 beds over there.
No kidding.
Yeah, when they built them dorms,
Then they have the dorms over here,
Yeah, they got
right behind
dorms.
Advance.
Yes, behind Advance. Those are part of that too, aren't they?
Mhm.
Most of,
They
Hawkins-
got another dorm right behind the two tall ones.
most of Hawkins College's dorms are dual licenses hotels.
They're what, Harry?
Most of Hawkins College's dorms are now dual licenses hotels.
That's hotels.
So they
So
can turn them,
there's a lot of things that would exempt them from.
paying fees.
Yeah. Oh, I'm not trying to hit them up. It was a curiosity question more than anything. Okay, so anybody else got anything?
well,
Real,
I just want to say, I think we need a better answer than when the auditor comes back and says that the funding is very tight, what's the alternative? Because if that's the case, everything stays as it is right now.
well, that's what you call problem solving. Once we
So-
get once we get that problem, we'll go in and try to solve it another way.
I think once we get an administrative assistant to where Bill can actually spend some time outside of the building.
Yeah.
And take his time and actually go through and, time is knowledge and knowledge is key.
Right.
And you don't know everything overnight. And that's the thing that some people have forgotten. This is a man who decided to help the city out.
And get
Yes.
that.
And
Yeah.
give back, who is learning on the fly.
Yeah.
Because I don't think there's any formal education that he can go to code enforcement school for 3 months and get a degree,
Right.
okay? So, I'd like to thank him for his continued effort through multiple administrations. And, has not said, I'm quitting, has not thrown a fit, has been criticized unmercifully by certain citizens of this community who should be ashamed of themselves, who call him his friend, okay? They should be ashamed of themselves, and they know who they are, because I'm good at it.
No, why do you take?
Why do I do it? Because it's, you know what, Jonah? It's been
grudge.
personal,
Well,
they made
shouldn't
it
be.
personal.
This
It
is about the
shouldn't be,
city.
it shouldn't be, you're right.
It's about. the
Talk
city.
to your buddies.
It's not that.
It is.
I don't know, my viewpoint is we've got certain individuals, here in, the city of Nelsonville that doesn't want us to be a city, wants us to be an HMO when it comes to code enforcement. And that's like, I'll never see that
I
happen
don't know
here.
what that means.
Homeowners Association, where everybody's the same, you gotta get
Oh.
certain rules down, and you can't do this, you can't do that. It's like individuals own their own property, they should be able to do with it what they want. But we have certain individuals that feel they have to dictate how somebody else manages their property. And I don't see that happening. As far as code enforcement going into private residential, yes, the aesthetics of it on the outside, is right. But code enforcement has no right on the inside.
I
State of
agree.
Ohio,
I agree with that.
state of Ohio does not regulate residential.
I think it's a
Buildings.
mindfall. I think that's a pitfall for anybody that starts to go into that.
Well, like I say, the state does not regulate residential. They regulate commercial.
Yep.
Everybody says, well, you need you have to have a license to perform this, or you need a license to do electric or plumbing. There is no such thing as a residential electrician as far as license. It does not exist. When you are a licensed electrician, you are a commercial contractor, period. Same thing plumbing. You are not residential, you are commercial plumber. Everything is on the commercial side. The state of Ohio does not regulate residential, that's up to individual cities.
I think we got a little off point there, Mr. Lawson, so
Well, I'm
let's
just saying.
no, I understand.
I hear
understand what you're saying.
residential's being brought up, and I bring other things about it, code enforcement. Once we get the administration, and Bill can do his job, with no problem. With them having to come in, make reports, go through, and with all the freedom of information requests coming in and all that stuff, it ties him up from doing code.
Well,
So,
we need to find out the budgetary part of it first. And if we find out the budgetary part, because he spoke with Mr. Sappington. And that's why I called this meeting. He spoke with Mr. Sappington.
Right.
And was told that it's a little tight and we might not be able to do that. So we need to figure out a way to do it and solve that problem. Because I agree, I myself, as a citizen, helped Mrs. Barber when she was code enforcement as a citizens. And she would give me papers, I would ride around and look at the properties that had a 10-day window. And if they fix it, it was a 10-day window as far as she gave them a citation. And if they fixed it, or a warning, if they fixed it, they had 10 days to fix it. So I rode around on the 10th day and told them that they fixed this, they fixed that, that wasn't fixed, this wasn't fixed. I gave her the papers back. I didn't say anything to anybody. I didn't do anything, it was just to help her out. And I think it did help her out. It caused her from having to go out and do that. So if we could even find somebody just to help out as a citizen to do stuff like that. I don't know, possibly the council will find some issues with the legal status of that, but
I don't think it would be council, it'd be up to the city attorney to advise us on that.
But anyway, let's we'll get with Mr. Sappington and find out whether maybe we can talk about it at council or have another budget meeting and talk about it. Ask the budget committee chairman if we can do that. So we'll adjourn this meeting right now. Anybody else got anything to say? Okay, this meeting's adjourned at 5:40.